For those of you that have not been around, we've been in the process of a recount for the last 2 days. First, let me say I'm sure both Mr. Levin and Mr. Pauley are good and honorable men. I had no interest in who would be the mayor of Rock Island, except to make sure that the election ran smoothly. I was also quoted after the election saying, if I were Mr. Levin, I would ask for a discovery and do everything possible to make sure that the votes totals were counted. I have the utmost respect for Judge Vanderwally, and given the information he was given from the attorneys involved in this case, he did exactly what any judge would do in ordering a full recount. The order and the recount took a turn in a different direction when the 3 attorneys involved in this case decided to agree with a Supreme Court ruling from 1917 that said any ballot that does not have an election judge's initials shall not be counted. When you had consensus from all attorneys involved in the case, Judge Vanderwally had no alternative but to order the uninitialed ballots should not be counted. 2 things that have become abundantly clear to me in this recount. One is the election judges did a great job. And 2, the recount changed from a process of checking to make sure that all votes were counted correctly and that no one's vote that was ineligible to vote was counted. Instead, the recount turned towards trying to find loopholes in the election law in order to push otherwise qualified voters through those holes and out of the election process, completely forgetting the intent of the voters. It has become a win-at-all-cost mentality. I think anyone that has been involved in this recount the last few days would agree. We are taking what we know are qualified voters and removing their ballot from the count. When several otherwise qualified voters' ballots are disqualified, and the only error was that the overworked election judge has made a clerical mistake by forgetting to put his or her initials on the ballot, it's a travesty. It is ironic with 2 systems in Rock Island County. Ballots on the optical scan are in a question for election judges' initials, while if you voted on the touchscreen equipment, there was no initial to be questioned. When I was elected, I took an oath. I promised the people of Rock Island County to run elections with honesty and integrity. With the help of a great staff and the tremendous volunteers that work as election judges, we have done just that. I cannot stand by and watch the election process turn into a crapshoot. I am not a lawyer, as you are all aware, but qualified voters should determine the next mayor of Rock Island, not attorneys looking to remove the ballots of qualified voters. For that reason, I am ending the recount as of now.
You thought you were ahead at this point, right?
The judge ordered a total recount. I put up money for the recount, and we'll have to confer with the judge to find out exactly what the next step is.
Are you going to keep challenging it legally?
We'll talk with my attorney, and we'll find out exactly where we go next.
What do you think of this happening?
I have no comment.
Are you angry, though? Because you said at this point you were ahead.
I'm confused.
Do you think this is violating just the election law in this
I
country?
can't comment.
We just want to make sure all the legally cast votes are counted, and only the legally cast votes are counted according to the law. It's not a 1917 Supreme Court decision. It's the law that says judges shall initial the ballots and they shall be invalidated on the day of the election. Had that process been followed on the election day, we wouldn't be here today. The results would have already been done, and those ballots would not have been counted.
But he's saying these are loopholes. The people have spoken with good intent.
If Mr. Leibovitz disagrees with the election law of the state of Illinois, he should propose changes to it. But this is the law. We were counting it according to the law, and we should continue to count the votes and we should count them expeditiously and as soon as possible.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So what is the next step, you guys? Do you go?
Do you go back to court?
To Vanderwilly?
Okay.
I agree that it's difficult to watch as voters have cast their votes and then for them to be thrown out because of a clerical error.
And what do you think should be the next step? Do you think we should go back to court, or do you think we should just end here?
I'm not sure.